Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to the Goddess Breath podcast. I'm Dr. Mari Castle, and I'm your host. And I'm super excited to be talking today about Carl Jung's individuation process so that it gives you some practical understanding of what all this really means, um, from this psychological perspective, and to find what resonates with you. I think that's really important. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Um, And first, I want to breathe. I want to do a little breathing with you together. And for that, I do that. I just hope that you enjoyed the last episode. I hope you had a chance to listen to Dr. Elise Hebert on the shaman astrology and the intermarriage, her perspective of what she's learned, and from the cosmic, and then how we can apply that. So that's another example. And today I'm going to give you what she had referred to with the Jungian aspects. And yeah, anyway, so we'll get into it. And just taking that nice deep breath, inhale through your nose, nice slow exhale. And again, I hope you enjoy these breaths, these conscious, intentional breaths. Feeling your body from your belly all the way, your lungs, the top of your heart. Ah, releasing. Do that one more time. And then just imagine breathing in that part of you that wants to seek truth, that wants to know more. Gnoisis, and have gnosis, experience gnosis, self knowledge. And then exhaling that part of you that no longer needs to pretend or is not your true self, right? So, Carl Jung talked about what he termed the individuation process. Now, I recognize that word, that term, may be kind of misleading, just based on it's individuate, separate, sounds like, but it's actually integrating the masculine and feminine, what we've been talking about in these episodes, bringing them together within yourself. And it's like the unfolding of the self. And it's the becoming of who you truly are. And that there is maybe um, all along in your life, you were told who somebody else wanted you to be, or who you thought you were supposed to be based on society. And then we end up acting out like a performance who we think that should be. But who we are when we become whole is more of ourself from the soul level. And we can let go those outer layers. It's like peeling away those layers, right? So I believe, like many others, believe that this journey it's about the sacred union. It's about the masculine and feminine wanting to kind of come together, have dance together, to heal, to witness, to be a witness for others, to hold space for others, to merge, and to come together. So, like I said, individuation might, you might be thinking, huh? But this is really about bringing the inner aspects of the self into a whole, integrated sense of being. And this looks something like, I know I'm probably throwing some strange terms out there if you're not familiar with this stuff, but like the shaman, the journey of the shaman. And if you're not familiar with the shaman's like the tribal healer, but the one that people go to also could be like back from before Catholic priests, like the priest of the tribe or the spiritual person in the tribe, the one that people go to, because the shaman is integrated. The shaman's been through the journey of the self, uh, tapping in to the underworld, kind of like a death of the old self. They go through this transformative process, a shaman will. And we have modern day shamans, and then we have old world shamans. So we're just talking basic generalization of the shaman. And that then the shaman comes, like, reemerges from the underworld in a way that brings messages to the tribe, brings gifts or healing to the tribe. So another archetype that we can think of to kind of describe what I'm talking about is the wounded healer, who transforms pain into medicine. And then another way I love to describe, and this is to me just so close and home to my heart, is the caterpillar who dissolves into like this muck inside the chrysalis, and then is completely transformed. It's no longer what it was. There is no caterpillar anymore, yet is totally surrendered to what it will be until it becomes a butterfly. And I just have to share that if you haven't seen this, this is why I have this beautiful artistic rug behind me, because it's such a resemblance of what the possibilities are, what our potential is. If we remember, just have to. But getting back to individuation, the Jungian individuation process, it's like a person becomes, like I said, integrated. That's, but it's not a process that's linear. It's a process that's a spiral. It's just it's moving and then can be descending and then returning. And it's about you know uh, being able to check in on the self, check in on the parts of the self that you no longer see, or that not that you no longer see, that you aren't able to see. And it's not about like being in the light and all of that. It's more um, that we must meet the shadow in order to transform, like the butterfly, like being in the chrysalis. And we must face these parts that we've denied, either hidden or we don't even want to take a look at it. It's in the dark. And we maybe have, thrown from a feminine masculine perspective, been told that being soft or be going along, or don't say anything, zip it, right? Like, don't express yourself, don't use your voice, like that was supposed to be the gender, or the status quo, or like just going along, and that's what you're supposed to be doing from a feminine woman perspective. Or the masculine, the men, um, had to be tough, strong, uh, have it all together, hold up the fort, right? Be the protector. But individuation is about bringing both of those into play in your inner being. So no matter man or woman or transgender, and usually the transgenders have this already, as I talked about in my Pride episode. So um, it's recognizing where you're at, that then is not serving you and where you feel most comfortable, but also that this is all possible. You have permission as a man to be soft, to uh, just kind of listen, step back, and not have to be leading um, or the one that's uh, making it all happen, right? And the woman then, from a perspective of being a warrior goddess, can also show up in her strength and yet be amazingly receptive. So thinking about all of that, right? Recognizing that there can be balance within, no matter who you are. And then thinking about, okay, so what does all this mean, right? And like mean to you specifically. So how do you even know that you can begin this process? Like, what are some of the ways that you might be interested or resonate with moving through a transformative process like this? So, thinking about, feeling that sense of, if you ever felt like super restless or that you just aren't on the mark, right? Like you just they're trying, you're moving forward and moving forward, moving forward, but you're like missing the mark. You're off somehow. Um, and then how about like that you find yourself doing things that are old patterns, like being a people pleaser or being a perfectionist or working too many hours of the day and not giving yourself any time for rest or to just unwind or to go on a vacation, right? You feel like you have to do, never give yourself a break. But these patterns, then you feel like they're not serving you. Like all of a sudden wake up and go, wait a minute, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this. And you begin to see that um, this also is something that's happening in your relationships, and even to the point where it could be triggering, and it's putting a mirror on your inner wounds. uh, and that, so that could be a wake up call right there to want to improve your relationships in a way that it feels healthy, that it feels like a relationship good should, where you feel supported and you're supporting as well. It's that giving and receiving together that's balanced. So yeah, some other thoughts are, you might be more interested in solitude, like going internal, um, and and maybe wanting to avoid noise, not being interested in loud places. You're more interested in just kind of learning more and reading or something like that. You are maybe thinking of things that you want to do as a practice, like doing breath work. That might be more of what comes to the forefront of an interest for you. And so that's where this starts to begin, the very beginning of like this inner journey to what is Jungian terms the individuation process. And it's good to know that this is actually a healthy sign, right? That it's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. And that these are like initiations, like a shamanic initiation. And that, like Ainana, when she descended into the underworld, I talk about in previous episodes, her descent into the underworld. And, this is something you can even look up online yourself, Ainana's descent into the underworld. See what comes up on the search engine and see if you resonate with some of the descriptions of that, right? But that when she does this, she gives up every layer of status and identity, her robes, her talisman, her staff, And then she stands naked and true, willing to surrender, to die to herself. And it's like the chrysalis, it's like the butterfly, the chrysalis, where the caterpillar completely dissolves before it reforms. Sometimes we just, we're not exposed to that language. We don't know, and we think that that's just what's happening to me, and I'm maybe you're in a feeling of a depression or have a lot of anxiety. So these are all symptoms that can come with this kind of process that is language that maybe you're not familiar with, but it's all there if you can understand it in a metaphoric perspective or mythology or through archetype. It really can shift your process and how it unfolds for you. And, you know, it's not easy to think that I'm going to die before I die. What is that, right? That death of what I would call the false self. So that then that that inner you can just really kind of come forth and shine, right? So, yeah, I hope that this makes sense. I'd like to just kind of have you take it all in with a breath. So, inhaling through your nose, exhaling slowly, gently. And as you do this, just imagine like the breath bringing the feminine, that inner aspect, uh, the dark in with the masculine, that sense of action, wanting to go forth, uh, kind of bringing that within you. Structure and flow, action and rest, right? The mind and the heart and the body. And imagine just being able to be with this process, not having to fix anything, not having to resist or push, but embrace it for all it is, because it's something that a lot of people have been through and nobody talks about it. That's the thing. Nobody really um, recognizes like I said, we're not given this language, um, and also that it's not a destination that we're trying to reach. It's not I've achieved individuation, and so I'm now golden. Uh, Thinking of enlightenment. Some people, reach enlightenment and they never have any other issues, but I don't know that many people that I've experienced that. I usually experience people that maybe have glimpses of enlightenment, but then they're living their everyday, right? And that's it. We're just living our lives being. And one thing then that you can consider to have as a reflection in this process is, how can I, through by bringing the masculine and the feminine together, is really where we're at, what we're talking about. How can I honor my doing and my being? And how can I listen to the part of me that wants to rest, but also the part of me that wants to create, that wants to manifest? It's possible to have both, to listen to both. And then, where do I need to soften? Where am I too structured? And if that feeling of, oh, I just want to give up comes up, can you stand tall in that? Can you stand tall and say, okay, I just want to give up, but still know that you're not going to. You're a pillar of strength within. So if you can just resonate and think about all of that and find some way of applying, and I have some ideas, but then you're more in tune with what individuation is, or integration, or transformation. It's all, to me, pretty much the same terminology. It means the same. It's different terms, but it means the same thing. And just to close, I want to share that for me personally, the holotropic breath work is what helped me the most to come to these terms and help me to grow, help me to look at the parts of myself that I wasn't able to see, and to also uh, be more compassionate, to be more interested in connecting with nature, because that's a really big piece of this as well that I'll talk about in another episode. And um, I just encourage you, whether you live locally near me in St. Petersburg, Florida, to come to one of my holotropic breathwork workshops, or you live afar. People are doing these all over the world, and they've been for quite some time. It's been, I think, 45, 50 years or something since holotropic breathwork was developed by Dr. Stan Grof. So, yeah, and in the next episode, I will talk a little more about some of these tools and resources that you can utilize to learn more about tapping into your inner wholeness, the sacred masculine and feminine within, which is also the individuation process through Carl Jung's lens. And for now, though, I will say thank you, greetings, blessings, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here and listening. Be well.